So last session, I see most of the people got confused, right? Like we were going through the deeper with help of the developer tool. Okay, but somehow you got an idea what is get method and what is post. Okay, and before that, you guys already aware of the protocol. Initially, also we had discussed what is the protocol of the application. What we had discussed. We just see it. What is the protocol? If I open this, what is the protocol of the application? Yes, HTTPS. Usually HTTPS, our protocols are related to HTTPS. So HTTPS, HTTP calls, you can directly say the calls we have targeted and trying to understand are related to HTTP only. Okay, don't get confused. The calls which we are trying to understand related to HTTP, right? You already aware of it, and everybody gone through the link that I had shared over the chat. I had shared over the chat yesterday one link. Did you guys gone through the link? I'm trying to make understand what kind of calls are triggering based on our activity. Did you anyone perform over the developer tool? For you guys practice purpose, I had shared you. Okay. Just try to navigate over the application, try to turn on the developer tool and see what kind of calls are generating. Okay. Today topic is kind of theoretical, but most important from today. At least I think 2 days or so, right? We will be trying to understand the theoretical part. So okay, after 2 to 3 days, probably we can get started with our scripting part. So already I had explained you in the scripting part. We will try to understand the call related in deeper. What is request? What is header? Somewhat you got an idea, but not entire picture you got it, right? So if I ask you what is post call?
Trying to send some data to the server.
Very good. Okay, what is get method?
We are fetching, we are getting some data to this from the server to the client.
Okay, from the server to the client depends on the input that we are
Input.
giving. Like the next example is the order ID. Related to order ID, you will be trying to fetch the details of the order, what kind of order it is, what is the product you have ordered, when you did order. The entire response you will get it. That hierarchy I thought you will be seeing soon. Okay. So today I am going to be started. Okay. It's very important interview perspective as well as in a real time also. Okay. You will be involved, but you won't get started this cycle. Okay. You will be involved along with your teammates because you will be having 3 to 4 years of experience. Is that correct? Or more than you will be keeping related to performance testing experience. How many years of experience you will be keeping? As we discussed in the demos, the content, the course, whatever we are going to learn, it is having the potential till 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. How many years you can be able to manageable by learning this particular course? 3 years or 4 years or 5 years still.
Not more than 5 years.
Not more than 5 years usually. Because, okay, as per your experience, you will be involved along with your TLs, your managers, okay? But you don't take up the project directly from the clients or from the bidding level. You don't get it. So every application, so can you name it? What is the SDLC process can be started with? How SDLC can be started with? How SDLC process can be started?
Customer requirement. First, we get the customer requirement.
Very good.
Business team will get the customer requirement.
Okay. It is having its own life cycle. Is that correct or not? Where you will be gathering your requirements, where design can be done, where development phase will be there. After development, the QA engineers will be involved. After QA engineers, testing is done. it will be going to the production, I mean maintenance. Is that correct? In a general way, if I ask you what is SDLC, you should have knowledge of this particular phases. So already we are aware of requirement is one of the phase, means where we have started here. After requirement gathering, we will be into the design phase. After design phase, the developers will be developing the application. After developing, QA people will be testing the application. After testing is completion, once the application is stable, application is defect-free product, probably it will be deployed to the production, right? Is that correct? So in the same way, we will be having our own life cycle. That is called PTLC, means performance testing life cycle. Performance testing life cycle. What is performance testing life cycle? How and where it will be started? How and where it will be started? And when I talk about this SDLC process, do you think complete application is built by only one IT company? If I take HCL, any IT company, okay, there is a application called SBI, let's say. Is SBI application is developed and tested and database related, in a QA related, everything can be taken over by only HCL? Or sometimes there will be different kind of organizations. Let's say TCS will be developing the application and someone will be deployed, someone will be tested out from different companies. How the hierarchy, how the structure will be in the real time, in the live environment? Can you tell me?
Second example, like different company developed and some other company tested.
Some other companies sometimes, okay. Sometimes entire picture, okay. Entire picture will be into the scope for one company. Sometimes people will be developed from HCL, from Infosys they will be tested out, from other company it will be going to the maintenance. Is that correct? So this is what can be happened in the real time. Even whenever we started working on, whenever there is a requirement, very first time, whenever we get the projects, there would be always bidding. Bidding means, what is bidding? What is bidding? Action. Kind of actions will be there for every project before it comes for any organization. Before it comes for any organization, there would be the actions. Okay. So here, there would be the actions. In the bidding part, clients will be talking to the business development team. Business development team. So what does business development team? What does these guys? These guys will be trying to communicate with the client. Communicate with the client if there is any requirement from different portals. Usually, they will be communicating with the client. Who is communicating with the client? Business development team will be communicating with the client, and they will be sharing our profile. The profile can be shared by the development team to the client. So if client is agree, if profile is good, and the last projects, whatever they had implemented, so this guy can go to the client and trying to communicate with the client, and they will be sharing company related profile. Let's say here our company is HCL. HCL related profile will be sharing to the client. And like profile can be consisting what? Profile can be consisting what kind of previous project we did, projects, and our previous clients. Okay, our previous clients. This mostly can be happened in the LinkedIn only nowadays. Nowadays, LinkedIn profile is most important for everyone who are working for the IT, who are going to be working for the IT nowadays. So always clients will be looking at the LinkedIn profile, who are business development team can be having its own LinkedIn profile nowadays. Everyone will be having the LinkedIn profile. They will try to communicate with the client, sometimes via link, sometimes there were some internal sites where we can get the projects. So after projects, whatever the previous projects, okay, previous projects, previous clients, they will try to set up a call, and the directors and senior business team will be joined with the clients and trying to get the project from the client, trying to get the project from the client. This is how the first step, any development phase it would be, or if it is going to the QA, testing is going to the any other company, every time this kind of cycle will be happening. It's general life cycle. Every project, remember, if project we wanted to be take up the project, the bidding will be there. In the bidding, before bidding, we need to go, business team will be approaching these kind of clients, trying to make them understand what kind of projects we had implemented, what are all our previous clients. Everything will be understanding, and from the client, from the requirements, everything will be understanding what client is looking for. If client is okay with our profile, with our company, with our trying to make the deal with HCL, let's say, thereafter, okay, SOW or RFI will be presented. RFI. What is RFI? Do you guys know aware of RFI? RFI. Did you ever hear? RFI. What is our request? Request for information. Request for information. Very first step in any application, this will be happening. Or you can think of it PTLC level. If someone asks you in the PTLC, you can just introduce related to the project, how it can be happen in the backend. Directly, you can start it with the step 1. You can call it as our phase 1. Phase 1 is RFI, request for information. What is RFI? Who will share it? RFI. Who will share it? RFI. Who will be responding for the, who will requesting the information, and who will be responding for the information, and what kind of questions would be asked as part of the RFI. Do you guys any aware of?
Business team will request to the client.
No, ma business team already done. Business team, right? Business development is already done here. Let's say they are trying to making the communication build is done, and they are agree, like somewhat agree. Okay, bidding is done, everything is done. Let's say bidding is also done. Let's say they are committed for 10 lakhs, example, or 10K US dollars. Then what will happen? 10K USD. The project got fixed. The SOW, everything is done. Okay, statement of work, everything is done. Okay, and they had committed for 10K. That particular project. What? The first step next. The activity, actual activity. What is the first actual activity? Karthik, what is the first activity? What can be asked by the client? Okay, always RFI means request for information. Request for information means the client would like to ask, okay, what was our team as part of the performance testing? How many people are there? What is their expertise? So let's say if we have 100 people, total company 100 people, and 100 people, how many performance testers are there? They are trying to request this kind of information from the service-based companies, example, called HCL, service-based company. What is service-based company again? What is service-based company?
IT services providing.
IT services means they are trying to build the application, developing the application for different clients. They are providing the services to the clients called service-based companies. Example, HCL, Infosys, TCS, IBM, the different kind of companies are there, MNCs or any IT organization. They are mostly service-based companies. Service-based companies. Okay. Service-based companies. They are service-based companies. Okay. Who is client here? SBI or any product they are having, which they wanted to be built out by the any service-based organizations. They are calling as the clients. Okay. Here, this particular company is having how many performance testers? How many people are there as part of the performance testing? PT resources. What is their expertise? What is their roles? Okay. This kind of information can be picked up by the client by sending RFI. Just it is a document and there will be the questions mark. The questions will be asked by the client in this particular case. Like, what is the business already kind of, for what project you got implemented the performance testing? Okay. What is the, how many people are there, employees related to the performance testing? How many leads are there? How many managers are there who can manage? How many architecture are there, performance architectures? This kind of information always can be gathered as part of the one of the phase called RFI. Any questions, everyone? Please try talking. Anyone?
Here, client will request for information, right?
Yes, client will be request the information to the service-based companies. Let's say from the service-based companies, there is a performance tester, senior performance tester or manager will be there. Manager, the particular project manager will be trying to replay back to the customer information, whatever he asked. Let's say in our organization, if we ask how many people are there, then this guy will be responded. What is roles and responsibilities? What projects did we implemented? What challenges were there? Example. This kind of request can be, mailed by the customer client. Example. Then this one of the guy from the service-based company, manager mostly, will be trying to make them understand whatever he asked. Okay, that is the actual phase. Okay, first phase of the life cycle, PTLC. This is absolutely whenever development and functional testing is done by other company, probably this can be happened there. This bidding and all. Remember. Understand? This bidding not always. If this project already developed by our HCL company, example, we are from HCL, our performance testing team, development, functional testing, and other testing is developed and tested by our company, this phase will not be there. Okay, this phase is at the before requirement phase, before development it will be happen, bidding and all to get the project. But whenever it is comes for the first time for the performance testing to get the project, if there are any opportunities related to the performance testing, probably business development team will be approaching, trying to get the project by communicating with their client and trying to bidding it. Then this phase will be comes. Any questions here? Anyone? Okay. The actual thing can be started. Next phase is phase 2. Phase 2 is POC. What is POC? POC, proof of concept. Okay. So after allocating proof of concept. After allocating the project and after team is builded. Okay, after team is builded, let's say there is a project, okay, SBA related project. For SBA related projects, we are going to be working 2 to 3 people, let's say, from our performance testing. Okay, dedicated resources, 2 to 3 people. Let's say there would be the lead, okay, and senior and junior resources. Okay, there would be the lead will be there for every project, and there would be the junior resources. Let's say one junior resource, junior performance tester, and one senior performance tester. Let's say one lead. Okay, this is how the structure of the performance testing team. So it might be varying the project also. Sometimes there is a requirement, like very, like it is not kind of big project. Then the resources might be varying. Sometimes only one people will be there, senior people. Junior people are not required. That's how can be happened as part of the bidding and request information. So we'll be going through the project and how many days it will be taking, how many resources are needed, then that would be decided and team will be builded. After team is builded, there would the very actual phase, I would say, for the performance testing called proof of concept. We got the project, we successfully got the project, that is called SBI. Example, SBI project, we got it for the performance testing activity, performance testing requirement. Then actually you can say directly this, but this is the add-on for you guys. If you tell whenever interviewer asks what is the PTLC, you can get started with, that's okay. But if you explain this, that will be actually impressed by the interviewer usually. So the people who had worked on the real time, this will be knowing. This will be knowing. Understand? You can directly tell from this also. So very first phase of the PTLC, POC, proof of concept. From here also you can get started, but it is a kind of routine way. Whenever you're trying to explain this bidding and phase 1 and all, they will be automatically think you are the real-time employee. You did work on it. You had expertise. You already worked on the project. Okay, this kind of information you need to provide to the interviewer whenever interviewer asks PTLC. When performance testing life cycle is started, you can tell directly this, or you can tell this. Okay, what is proof of concept? Okay, so let's say there is an application. What as a performance tester, 3 people are there. Example, 3 people are there. 3 people. What does they in the very first phase, very first activity? Tell me what does these 3 guys? Any idea? In the first session, what we did understand about the application?
And business analyst.
Can you come again?
Developer.
What developer? Okay.
Business analyst and QA.
What does they? I did not understand.
As part of POC, they will build the application architecture and.
Okay. So if I ask you in the first session, what we did understand in the first session or second session might be as part of the demos. As part of the demos, what we did understand in the second session IP. Whenever requirement comes, remember, whenever requirement comes, let's say if it is any application, let's talk about SBI. For SBI, directly you will test out the application. Directly you will test out the SBI application.
No.
Then, but before that, if I ask you, what is your job? What does performance tester? Tell me. What does performance tester?
To check out the performance level, whether it's working fine as part of expected or not.
Yes, this guy, performance tester, will be applied the load against the SBI system and trying to evaluate the response times and trying to understand how it is behaving different kind of loads and what is the scalability of the application. Everything he will be trying to evaluate. We will be evaluated. Performance tester will be evaluated. Directly they will come and test out this application, SBI application. So very first phase in the POC, whenever requirement comes, the performance tester and along with the team, including managers, leads and all, will be trying to understand the SBI architecture. The architecture will be understanding. What is architecture? Tell me again. Everyone speak out, please. Don't just sit in the classes. Be potential. Try to talk something.
How the application look like?
How the application look like? Okay. What is the mechanism of the application? And how many servers will be there? How many web servers, app servers, and DB servers will be there? And in between, what is the mechanism of the application? What is the protocol? What is the mechanism? And what is the technology they had been used? Sometimes it will be developed by the Java. Sometimes it will be developed by the .NET. Sometimes it will be developed by the PHP. Sometimes it will be developed by the Python. There are different kind of programming languages. So everything we will be trying to understand as part of the POC. That is proof of concept. So here, most important thing, we will try to understand the architecture team. Who will help us to make understand the architecture? Tell me. Who will ask? Who will? For performance tester, who will help us to understand the architecture? Who will help us to understand the architecture? The architecture team will be there. As I was saying, the design team will be there and development team will be there. These two guys will be helping us to understand the architecture of the application. The performance architecture would be there, or the application level architecture will be there, and who is good at the development skills, those guys will be helping us to understand the application. Can anybody tell now the general application architecture? What are all the servers will be there?
Web server,
app server, DB server. This is called three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture. This is called three-tier architecture. Sometimes for one of the application and web server, okay, data and application server data might be in only one server, one machine. That can be also possible sometimes. But 90% of the projects can be consisting web server, app server, and database server in different machines, not single machine. Okay, this can be having different significance. This can be having different significance. Every application will be into different machines. So only one web server will be there, only one app server will be there, only one database server will be there. Tell me. How many web servers will be there? How many app servers will be there? How many database servers will be there?
Depending upon the project.
It depends on the project, right? It depends on the project. For SBI, there might be 4 web servers and 4 app servers, or 3 app servers, or only 2 database servers. It depends on the application capability, application business. If there are multiple people can be used, this application, probably there would be a number of servers with good configurations. Understand? Very first thing in the PTLC, you should have to try to understand the architecture of the application. Along with your team, let's say there are 3 years, 4 years guys, you don't directly pitch into this POC. Someone helping us to make understand from our performance testing team also. Okay, let's say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years up to people will not have that much knowledge usually to get understand directly. They can't directly talk to the implementation team and development team. There would be the lead initially at every project. There would be the lead initially. This guy is very good at the skills, technical skills. This guy will understand. This guy is very experienced person. Lead, technical lead. This guy will be there initially. Okay. And till he will also help us to understand for 3 years or 4 years people or 2 years junior resources. Okay. You directly go there and trying to understand. Remember, you don't worry. But being 3 years, being 4 years, guys, you should aware of the architecture of the application. In the future, you will be only executing it mostly, executing the test, applying the load against these particular servers. So that is why you should have to aware of the knowledge. You should have to get the knowledge on the architecture of the application. This is very first point as part of the POC. Everybody understand? Any questions here? Anyone? Speak out, please. If you are having any doubts, feel free to ask. No worries. If still it is getting confused, you can ask me. Anyone. If you feel shy, probably I can pause the recording. You can ask me. No problem. Yeah. Now you guys can ask. ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి సార్. ఇక్కడ ఏం అర్థం అవ్వకపోయినా అడగొచ్చు. ఎందుకంటే దిస్ ఇస్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. This is where the actual performance testing activities are started. Don't be dumb, everyone. If I ask you, Kamal, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
But everyone, any questions?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టింగ్ కి వచ్చేసరికి ప్రోడక్ట్ డిఫెక్ట్ ఫ్రీ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఉంటుందా, లేదంటే ఆల్రెడీ డెవలప్మెంట్ స్టేజ్ లో ఉన్న ప్రోడక్ట్ ఉంటుందా, ఆల్రెడీ డెవలప్డ్ ప్రోడక్ట్?
సో యూజువల్లీ వెనెవర్ అప్లికేషన్ అనేది స్టేబుల్ గా ఉన్నప్పుడే మనం పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టింగ్ చేయవచ్చు.
సో
ఆల్రెడీ స్టేబుల్ గా ఉండాలి, ఫంక్షనాలిటీగా స్టేబుల్ ఉండాలి. అప్లికేషన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ స్టేబుల్ లేకపోతే పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టింగ్ చేయలేము, అవునా? సో యాక్చువల్ గా స్క్రిప్టింగ్ లో అనేది స్టేబుల్ గా ఉండాలో లేదా అప్లికేషన్, మనం ఒక ఫ్లోని ఆటోమేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఆ ఫ్లో అనేది ప్రాపర్ గా వర్క్ అవ్వకపోతే డెఫినెట్ గా మనం స్క్రిప్టింగ్ అంటే మన స్క్రిప్ట్స్ ఆటోమేట్ చేయలేము, అవునా? పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టర్ గా. బట్ వీ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ద అప్లికేషన్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్. ఈస్ దట్ కరెక్ట్? రైట్. సో అప్లికేషన్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి మనం ఇనిషియల్ స్టేజ్ లో అప్లికేషన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీతో మనకు సంబంధం లేదు. మనకి ఎప్పుడు ట్యాగ్ అవుతుంది ప్రాజెక్ట్? డెవలప్మెంట్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు ట్యాగ్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఆర్ సైడ్ బై సైడ్ కొన్ని డెవలప్మెంట్ అయిపోయాక ట్యాగ్ అవ్వచ్చు. సమ్ టైమ్స్ మధ్యలోనే లైక్ ప్యారలల్ గా జరుగుతాయి అనమాట ఈ సిరీస్ అనే. ఒక ఫేజ్ ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గా ఒక లాగిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ అనేది బిల్డ్ అయింది అనుకోండి. లాగిన్ తర్వాత ఇంకొక ఫంక్షనాలిటీ బిల్డ్ అయింది. ఆ పర్టిక్యులర్ స్ప్రింట్ ఒక 2 weeks 3 weeks అని ఒక స్ప్రింట్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. అది ఫ్యూచర్ లో నేను చెప్తాను. మీరు ఎక్కడ ఎలా ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేస్తారో ఒక బోర్డ్, ఒక జీరా గానీ, అజిలిటీ గానీ, డిఫరెంట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ టూల్స్ ఉంటాయి. పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టర్స్ కూడా యూటిలైజ్ చేస్తారు, నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఫంక్షనల్ టెస్టర్స్. ఓకే. ఒక లాగిన్, ఒక SBI అనే ప్రాజెక్ట్ వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, మన వాళ్ళే డెవలపర్స్ ఉన్నారు, లేదు అని అంటే వేరే కంపెనీ వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు డెవలపర్స్. వాళ్ళు లాగిన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ డెవలప్ చేశారు. దాని తర్వాత ఒక మాడ్యూల్ లెట్స్ ఏ లైక్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్, లైక్ లేదు అని అంటే మనం ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేసే ఆప్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి మన అకౌంట్ లోకి. ఆ మాడ్యూల్ ఉంది పర్టికులర్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ, అది మన దగ్గరకు వస్తుంది యూజువల్లీ. సమ్ టైమ్స్ డైరెక్ట్ గా అన్ని ఎన్హాన్స్మెంట్ జరగకుండా సమ్ టైమ్స్. సో దాన్ని మనం స్క్రిప్టింగ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు స్టేబుల్ గా ఉంటే.
ఓకే.
బట్ బిఫోర్ దట్ ఈ డాక్యుమెంటేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ అంతా అప్లికేషన్ స్టేబిలిటీతో మనకు సంబంధం లేదు. అప్లికేషన్ ఫంక్షనల్ గా ఉందా లేదా, అప్లికేషన్ అనేది ఎలా ఉంది, అసలు స్టేబుల్ గా ఉందా లేదా అనేది నీకు యూజువల్ అయితే సంబంధం లేదు.
అప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు
ఎంటైర్ అప్లికేషన్ ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఫస్ట్.
ఓకే.
ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఎంటైర్ అప్లికేషన్.
ఓకే.
ఎంటైర్ అప్లికేషన్ స్టేబుల్ గా ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుంది? ఫంక్షనల్ టెస్టర్స్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యి అండ్ ఆటోమేషన్ ఫంక్షనల్ టెస్టర్స్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యి ఆ డిఫెక్ట్ ఫ్రీ ప్రొడక్ట్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మాత్రమే మన అప్లికేషన్ అనేది స్టేబుల్ గా ఉంటుంది. అది ఫంక్షనల్ టెస్టర్స్, మన జాబ్ కాదు.
ఓకే.
మన జాబ్ నాన్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ. అంటే అసలు లోడ్ అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు మన సిస్టమ్ ఎలా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంది, అసలు ప్రొడక్షన్ లో మన అప్లికేషన్ ఎంత ఎక్స్పెక్టెడ్ యూజర్లు ఉంటారో ఆ యూజర్ తో మనం బియాండ్ టెస్ట్ చేయాలి, బియాండ్ కెపాసిటీ టెస్ట్ చేయాలి.
ఓకే.
అదే పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్ట్, బియాండ్ కెపాసిటీ. ఎస్బీఐ ఉంది, ఎస్బీఐ యూజువల్ గా ఎంతమంది యూజ్ చేస్తారు? లాక్స్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్, ఇంటర్నల్ పీపుల్ ఉంటారు, ఎండ్ యూజర్స్ ఉంటారు. ఇంటర్నల్ అంటే ఎస్బీఐ యూజర్స్, ఐ మీన్ ఎస్బీఐ లో పనిచేసే వాళ్ళు కూడా యూటిలైజ్ చేస్తారు కదా అప్లికేషన్ ఎస్బీఐని.
Yeah.
ఎస్బీఐ అనే అప్లికేషన్ అనేది ఒకటి ఉందనుకోండి, దాంట్లో దానికి రిలేటెడ్ ఇంటర్నల్ గా యూజ్ చేస్తారు, మనం కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తాం ఎండ్ యూజర్స్.
అవును.
ఓకే, ఆ అన్ని యూజర్స్ తోటి టెస్ట్ చేస్తాం అనమాట బిఫోర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోస్ టు ద లైవ్. లెట్స్ సే కస్టమర్స్ ఒక 100 ఉన్నారు అనుకోండి, మనం 150 మెంబర్స్ తో టెస్ట్ చేస్తాం. ఎందుకంటే ఫ్యూచర్ లో కస్టమర్ పెరిగే అవకాశం ఉంటది కదా. లెట్స్ సే ఒక రిలీజ్ ఉంది, రిలీజ్ 3 months ఒకసారి రిలీజ్ ఉంది, ఆ 3 months లో 150 దాటి వెళ్ళిపోరు కదా కస్టమర్స్ బియాండ్ అయితే. మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ రిలీజ్ వచ్చినప్పుడు, నెక్స్ట్ డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇంకో యూజర్స్ తో, ఎక్స్ట్రా యూజర్స్ తో టెస్ట్ చేస్తారు అప్లికేషన్. బట్ వెరీ ఫస్ట్ టైం ఇది న్యూ అప్లికేషన్ అయినప్పుడు ఎస్బీఐ అనేది ప్యూర్ గా న్యూ అప్లికేషన్. లెట్స్ టేక్ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, అది బిడ్డింగ్ అయిపోయింది. లెట్స్ డెలైట్ వాళ్ళు బిల్డ్ చేశారు ప్రాజెక్ట్, అంటే డెవలప్మెంట్ చేశారు. టెస్టింగ్ వచ్చేసి టీసీఎస్ వాళ్ళు చేశారు. ఏ టెస్టింగ్? ఫంక్షనల్ టెస్టింగ్ కానీ, ఆటోమేషన్ టెస్టింగ్ కానీ, డేటాబేస్ టెస్టింగ్ కానీ, సెక్యూరిటీ టెస్టింగ్ కానీ ఎక్సెట్రా. ఇది పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టింగ్ కి మన కంపెనీకి వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, హెచ్సిఎల్ కి. మీరు ఏం చేస్తారు? ఆ బిడ్డింగ్ అనేది జరిగి మనకు వస్తుంది ప్రాజెక్ట్. అప్పుడు కస్టమర్ అనేవాడు మన కంపెనీలో ఉండే ఎంప్లాయీస్ ఎక్స్పర్టైజెస్ గురించి మాట్లాడాలి కదా. ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ లాక్కోవడానికి వాడు ఒక డాక్యుమెంట్, ఒక క్వశ్చనరీ అనేది పంపిస్తాడు. అది RFI. అది యాక్చువల్ గా మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూలో చెప్తే ఇది అడ్వాంటేజ్. నెక్స్ట్ POC, యాక్చువల్ టెస్టింగ్ స్టార్టింగ్ తో మీకు. ఎందుకంటే బిల్లింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది మనకి, బిల్లింగ్ విల్ బి స్టార్టెడ్. ఎందుకంటే దానికంటే ముందే డిసైడ్ అవుతారు ఆ పర్టికులర్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ కి మన పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టర్ ఎంతమంది అవసరము ఇనిషియల్ గా. ఎందుకంటే ఎక్కువ ఇనిషియల్ గానే వర్క్ ఉంటుంది, ఇనిషియల్ గానే ఎక్కువ మంది అవసరం ఉంటుంది, ఎక్కువ రిసోర్సెస్ అవసరం ఉంటారు. దాని తర్వాత ఎక్కువ రిసోర్సెస్ అవసరం లేదు పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ టెస్టర్స్. ఇనిషియల్లీ యూ విల్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇన్ ద రియల్ టైమ్ వే. కొంతమంది డైరెక్ట్ గా NFR చెప్పిస్తారు, ఇవన్నీ అడుగుతాం తీసుకుంటాం. బట్ యూజువల్ గా జరిగేది ఇది ఇంటర్నల్ గా. ఇది మీరు చెప్పారనుకోండి ఇంటర్వ్యూలో, మీకు యాడ్ ఆన్, చాలా యాడ్ ఆన్. ఎందుకంటే ఆల్రెడీ మీ పైన ఇంప్రెస్ అయిపోతుంది. దిస్ గై డిడ్ వర్క్ ఆన్, ఈజ్ ద రియల్ టైమ్ పీపుల్ కానీ, ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేశాడు కానీ, నాలెడ్జబుల్ పర్సన్ కానీ, దీంట్లో కూడా ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యాడు అనే యాడ్ ఆన్ మీకు ఉంటుంది, బీయింగ్ 3 years 4 years ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ వాళ్ళకి. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ POCలో చేయాల్సింది ఏమి లేదు, అప్లికేషన్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ ని అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకుంటారు. అసలు ఏ టెక్నాలజీస్ బిల్డ్ చేశారు అప్లికేషన్ ని, అది ఏ ప్రోటోకాల్, అంటే మెకానిజం ఏంటి. ఇప్పుడు మనం తీసుకుంది ఏంటి? STTP ప్రోటోకాల్. ఓకే, ఆ మెకానిజం అనేది STTP ఇన్ బిట్వీన్. నెక్స్ట్, ఎన్ని వెబ్ సర్వర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఎన్ని యాప్ సర్వర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అసలు వెబ్ సర్వర్ పేరేంటి, యాప్ సర్వర్ పేరేంటి, డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్ పేరేంటి, ఎన్ని డేటాబేసెస్ ఉన్నాయి మీకు తెలిసి, ఎవ్రీవన్ మీకు తెలిసి ఎన్ని టైప్ ఆఫ్ డేటాబేసెస్ ఉన్నాయి? డేటాబేస్ పేర్లు ఏమన్నది ఐడియా ఉందా?
Oracle,
Oracle, MySQL, Cassandra, MongoDB, చాలా ఉంటాయి. డిఫరెంట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ DBs ఉంటాయి కదా. అసలు ఏ DB పెట్టుకుంటాడు మరి వీడు? ఎవరు ఇవన్నీ చేసేది? డిజైన్ పేజ్ లో చేస్తారు ఇవన్నీ. డిజైన్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు SDLC, డెవలప్మెంట్ లైఫ్ సైకిల్లో చేస్తారు ఇవన్నీ. బట్ అక్కడ ఏం చేస్తాడో మనం తెలుసుకోవాలి అంతే. ఎందుకంటే మనం రేపు ఏం చేస్తాము, ఒక సర్వర్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తాం, అది ఎంతవరకు యూటిలైజేషన్స్ తీసుకుంటుంది, అది ఏ సర్వర్ అనేది కూడా అన్ని తెలుసుకోవాలి కదా మనం. అందుకే ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ అనేది మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. డైరెక్ట్ గా 3 years 4 years వాళ్ళు ఎవ్వరు ఇన్వాల్వ్ కారు. వాళ్ళకి ఒక లీడ్ ఉంటాడు, ఎందుకంటే ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్ కాదు కదా. 3 years 4 years లాస్ట్ 5 years అంటే ఇది ఎక్స్పర్టైజెస్ కాదు, లీడ్స్ ఉంటారు, టెకీ లీడ్స్, విచ్ దే ఆర్ మోస్ట్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్డ్ పర్సన్స్, 7 years 8 years people. They will be involved along with us. అక్కడ మనకి ఎవరు హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు? Who will help us to understand the architecture?
డిజైన్ అండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ టీమ్.
డిజైనింగ్ లో ఉండే ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ పీపుల్ కానీ, ఎక్స్పర్టైజెస్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డెవలప్మెంట్ టీమ్ కానీ మనకి నీట్ గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తారు. ఒక డయాగ్రామ్ ఉంటుంది, అలాగే ఆ డయాగ్రామ్ బేస్ చేసుకొని మనకి నీట్ గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తారు. సర్వర్స్ ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి, రిక్వెస్ట్ ఎలా వెళ్తుంటారు, చాలా ఎవ్రీథింగ్. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ POCలో చేయాల్సింది అదే, జరిగేది ఇదే ఫస్ట్ ఎనీ న్యూ ప్రాజెక్ట్, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. నౌ ఫైన్ ఎవ్రీవన్. ఓకే ఫైన్, లెట్స్ రెజ్యూమ్ ఇట్. ఓకే, సో very first phase you guys are aware of this architecture. We will try to understand the architecture of the application. First point, in architecture of the application, what you will try to understand? Mechanism of the app, means which protocol they had used. Okay, let's say HTTP protocol. Yes, you will try to understand. Next, how many servers are there? How many servers are there? Okay, how many web servers are there? How many database servers are there? How many application servers are there? And which technology used to develop the application? Which technology used to develop the application? Which technology will be using to develop the application? What is needed? Why we needed the technology? Usually, okay, for every technology can be having its own significance. Usually, for 90% of the project, 80% of the projects are built by the Java. For Java, there would be web servers will be different. For .NET, there would be different kind of web servers or app servers. Okay, that's how it can be architectured. That's how it can be formed. That's you will try to understand this. Okay, how many servers, what kind of technology they have developed for the application, and what else? And important topic, I wanted to explain you important topic. Okay, so there would be some doubts for you guys. If I ask you now, okay, let me clear this board. Just to be, and everybody knows, right? Okay, it is a big application. It is a big application. Browser nunchi use chesaran telusu andariki, right? It is a web server, app server, and DB server. Okay, as everybody knows, from the browser it goes to the web server. Let's say I do have 5 web servers. 5 web servers. Okay, I do have 3 app servers, and I do have 2 DB servers. Okay, so how many people will be used in the live environment? How many people? How many people will be using any
Number of-
application? Amazon. How many people? Let's say n number of
The number of
number of people. Let's say what we had taken as example 5 web servers. So now 3 example 4 3 4 example, this is 5. You can consider this as a web server. Okay, and 3 app servers, 2 database server. So whenever these guys are using in the live environment, if I have 5 web servers, from this user 1 is there, okay, user 2 is there, so and user 3, user 4, user 5, okay, user 6, user 7, user 8. So whenever trying to use the application in the browser, okay, different users, where my request will go to web server 1 or web server 2 or web server 3 or web server 4 or web server 5. Which server my request will be handling? Can you guess? Which server will be handling the request? Which server will be taking up the request from the end user? If I have a number of servers.
Traffic free server.
Very good. One of the algorithm. Okay. This is where the load balancers algorithm will be implemented in between browser before web server, and in between web server and app server, in between app server and database server. There will be the load balancer. Okay, load balancer. This is interview question mark. What kind of load balancer algorithm used in your current project? This is important. Everyone note down. Everybody maintaining the notes or not? Note down what is load balancer. So load balancer is helping us to distribute the load from different users to different servers. First, let's say user one related request from the browser, it goes to one of the server, fifth server. Okay, sometimes user 2 request might be going to the server 1. User 5 request will go to user 3. The algorithm will be built before request goes to the server. There would be some partitioning called load balancer in between every server and the client and server. Okay, these are all the clients, these are all the servers. In between servers and client and in between the servers, the load balancers will be involved. It will be distribute the load, it will be handling the load and distribute against different servers is called load balancer. There are different kind of load balancers. Okay, least connection, one of the algorithm is least connection. Okay, least connection and round robin. Okay, round robin. Least connection is what? It is there in the name itself. Least connection means what? Let's say my server already taking up 10 user of the load or 1000 users of the load. Server 3 is already taking up 1200 user load. Server 2 is taking up 500 user load. Server 4 is taking up 700 user load. Server 5 is taking up, let's say, 150 user load. Next request will go to which server? This is already handling 150. This is already handling 1200. So and 500, 700 and 1000. So whenever new user comes and open our application, where this particular request goes?
Fifth server.
Very good. Fifth server means this is the server where it is consisting the least connections, where this is consisting least connection users. So that is why it will be identify it. This load balancer will identify it, and for least connection server will be routed. Whenever users request something in the application, it will go to one of the server which is having least connection load. That is called least connection algorithm, one of the algorithm. Okay, understand? Any questions here? Least connection? Everyone, any questions? So after discussing the least connection, we are going to discuss another algorithm of the load balancer called round robin. What is round robin? Whenever user 1 makes request to the first server, user 2 will be second server, user 3 will be third server, user 4 will be fourth server, user 5 will be fifth server. After fifth server, the request comes for the first server again, second server. That's how it will be routed to the servers. In the same way here also. Let's say from here, there are 5 requests. Example, because 5 requests means 5 users will be accessing. All the 5 users, there are 3 servers in between. So first it will be taking first server, second server, third server, and fourth server, let's say. Here also least connections are also implemented. Everywhere least connection algorithm will be implemented. Remember, the same algorithms. If it is implemented for entire project, not only one particular server. So whenever least connection implemented, it can be implemented for every entire project, not only in between browser and web server. not in between web server and app server, not in between app server and DB server. Everywhere it will be implemented. Okay. What is round robin? Round robin means whenever request comes, in the sequence way, it will be taking round sequence way. First server, second server, third server, let's say. After 3 server, again it will go to round robin, means round. First server, second server, third server. That's how these loads will be handled by the load balancers. Understand, everyone? Sometimes there would be the load balancer called Nginx. Note down this point, Nginx. Okay, this is one of the load balancer, Nginx. Note down this. So if someone asks you what kind of algorithm, you can explain this, and what kind of load balancer means, you can explain this. Again, note down. If someone asks you load balancer algorithm, you can explain this: lead collection, round robin. There are multiple actually. There are IP sticky, different kind of, but you don't get understand much. Okay. So whenever what kind of load balancer used, Nginx you can tell. Okay. Whenever people are asking algorithm, you can directly tell this, any one of this, either this or this. Fine.